There were tears in Stella's eyes as she struggled to fix her little black dress. Her daughter Lily had begged her to go to the wedding, saying it would cheer her up a bit. The problem was Stella couldn't afford to buy a new dress. "It's not about the dress, honey," Stella said softly, hugging her girl. "You know, I just want to be there for your Aunt Lena." Lily sighed dramatically. "But you always say, Aunt Lena is our only hope. How will she help us if she doesn't even know we exist?" It was true. Stella's sister was getting married to a billionaire. Her own wedding would cost at least $2 million. But she didn't care about how much money Stella had or didn't have. All that mattered to her was that she came to the wedding. So Stella had done everything she could to scrape together enough money for a decent dress. She found one at a thrift store. It wasn't much to look at, but after she washed it and ironed it, it looked almost new. She put on the dress and went out to the garden. She had brought some flowers to congratulate her sister. As she walked through the front door, she heard gasps. She knew her appearance drew unwanted attention. She could feel her sister's disgusted look boring into her back. The other guests whispered behind their hands, exchanging sharp glances. Stella knew she didn't belong here. She and her sister grew up in completely different worlds. Their parents were divorced and their father had married a rich woman soon after. Stella had been left to raise Lily on her own. She had worked hard to give her daughter the best possible start in life. Despite this, she was still looked down upon by her family. After all, she was a poor single mother without a high school diploma. Her sister had sneered at her choice of dress. "You look like a maid," she had said. Stella had merely shrugged it off. She wasn't there to make friends anyway. All she wanted was to give her sister the flowers and tell her how happy she was that she was getting married. Suddenly, a hand touched her shoulder. She turned around and saw a woman she recognized. "Lena," she said softly, trying to smile. "Congratulations." "Stella," her sister replied curtly, looking at her like she was scum on her shoe. "I didn't think you'd show up." "Of course I came," Stella said quietly. "After all, you're my sister." "Don't call me your sister," Lena snapped. "You've never been worthy of that." Stella's eyes welled up with tears. "Lena, please don't be mean. We're family." "Oh, please don't insult me by calling me family," Lena spat. "You have no idea what my life could have been like. If I had made the smart decision to marry my college sweetheart and get a good education, Lena, I never asked for anything from you. All I wanted was for you to be happy on your special day. If you don't want me here, I'll leave right now." Lena hesitated for a moment before speaking again. "No, you can stay," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "Just stay away from me. And above all, do not even dream of coming near me on my wedding night." "Do you hear me, Stella?" Stella nodded slowly. Tears streamed down her face. She couldn't believe her sister was acting this way. Was this really the same Lena she had grown up with? What had become of her kind heart? Of course she would keep away from her. Stella thought bitterly. No one here wants me anyway. With that, Stella turned around and walked away. She spent the entire wedding reception by herself, outside. The guests came out from time to chat with her sister and take pictures. They had no idea how miserable Stella felt sitting there alone. Finally, the time came for her to leave. As she got up from her chair, someone approached her. Stella instinctively recoiled, thinking it was one of the snobby guests. "Can I help you?" she asked coldly. The person in question was a tall, handsome man dressed in a well-tailored suit. His name was Damian Drake, and he was a self-made millionaire. He was also the only guest who had not been invited by Lena or her family. He had simply shown up because he was an old friend of Stella's parents. "My name is Damian," he said warmly, holding out his hand. "And you are?" "Stella," she replied hesitantly. Before she knew it, Damian had already guessed what had happened. "Lena's a real piece of work, isn't she?" he said softly. She's always been like this, but I remember her being a bit kinder. I guess she's changed, Stella said quietly, biting her lip to hold back the tears. Yes, some people change for the worse when money enters the picture, Damien agreed. Your sister probably thinks you're beneath her now that she's marrying a rich man. That's right, Stella said dejectedly. She wants nothing to do with me. And her mother and father pretend I don't exist. Well, screw them, Damien blurted out. They don't deserve you, Stella. You're a strong, smart woman. Your little girl is a lucky child to have you as her mother. Don't let your sister or anyone else bring you down. As he spoke, other guests began to appear at the door. Stella's heart sank. Was Damien trying to help her, or did he actually think she could defend her against them? Just then, Lena appeared in the doorway. There you are, Stella, she said sweetly, her tone oozing fake kindness. I was wondering where you disappeared to. I was starting to get worried. I was fine, Stella replied, standing up straight. I just needed some fresh air. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better now, Lena said sweetly. In fact, I'd like you to come inside and meet my husband's parents. They're dying to meet the sister of the bride. Oh, don't bother, Stella said flatly. I am sure they would be very disappointed to find out that I am a poor single mother without a high school diploma. Lena's eyes flashed with anger. That's quite enough, Stella, she snapped. You've already embarrassed me once today. I won't tolerate it happening again. Before Stella could respond, a deep voice boomed from behind her. What's going on here? Why are you yelling at my wife? Stella turned around to see Damien standing there with an angry expression on his face. What? Lena stammered. This is none of your business. Please leave. Oh no, I think this is my business now, Damien replied sharply. He stepped closer to Lena and said in a low voice, Do you realize how embarrassing this is for you? Everyone's watching us, and I want to enjoy my evening, so I suggest you leave me alone. With that, he took Stella's hands and led her inside. But I haven't said a word, Lena protested. You're just making things up. Are you sure? Damien challenged her. Let's ask the others. He turned to the guests who were watching them. Did I lie? He asked. They all shook their heads. Very well then, Damien said calmly. Why don't we let Stella be my guest for the evening? No, Lena screamed. Get your hands off her, you dirty tramp. Damien immediately lost all traces of his earlier charm. How dare you speak to me like that, he thundered. You filthy, lying, snobby bit. Stella gasped, shocked by the sudden burst of anger. She knew Damien was rich, but she hadn't known he could be so scary when he wanted to. He grabbed Lena by the shoulders and shook her violently. I could ruin you and everything you've ever dreamed of, he hissed. You'll regret the day you were born if you ever try to hurt my wife again. Lena started crying. Stop it, please, she whimpered. I'm sorry. Damien released her and turned to the stunned guests. Everyone here is a witness to what I just said, he stated. If any one of you believes that I'm lying, please come forward now. No one moved. Good, Damien said grimly. Then let's continue the party. He offered his arm to Stella and they danced the night away,